Hello everyone, welcome back to the workshop. My wife and I are in the early stages of planning our next motorbike tour. I say motorbike tour because we are doing a tour in the car where we're going to Germany, Liechtenstein, Austria and through the Italian Alps before we come back home. But the tour we're going to do next on the bike will be a tour to Sardinia. We've never been to Sardinia. We understand it's very beautiful, it's got amazing roads, it's got some beautiful mountains and it's got lovely beaches. In fact, it's the perfect combo for us to have a beach holiday combined with a bit of motorcycle touring. So when we start thinking about where we're going to tour next, we always consider the south because we like warm weather. We've got lots of places that we haven't been that are on our list to go. We want to do a tour of Greece. I want to go to Albania next year. I'll do another big tour, hopefully, you know, if everything goes according to plan, which often it doesn't. And we also want to go to Madeira, which would be challenging with the bike. But for this year, it's Sardinia, okay? The next thing we sort of think about is what sort of tour do we want to do, because the tour that we typically do in the spring is all about the ride. It's not about going to the beach. So the tour that we did this April just gone, where we did Spain and Portugal, was all about the riding, and we do about 350 odd kilometres a day. We'd end up back in a hotel that was near the centre of whichever town we were staying in. We'd go out for a mooch about 4 o'clock, find somewhere for dinner and rinse and repeat. For this holiday, it's not going to be like that. For this holiday, it's going to be very similar to what we did last year when we went to Mallorca. So the next thing we need to think about is how long do we want to go for, because we're fortunate enough not to be constrained too much by time. And for this particular tour, we're going to be away for we'll be in Sardinia for 12 nights, and we've got 3 nights either end for going across France and returning back to England. So for this particular tour, the plan is to take a ferry from Newhaven to Dieppe, and when we arrive in Dieppe, it'll be about 4 p.m. We'll then ride down to Reims, or as in England you might pronounce that as Reims, but it's not pronounced Reims. We'll overnight in Reims, then we'll go from Reims down to Bourg-en-Bresse, and then we'll go from Bourg-en-Bresse down to Nice. And that'll be quite a long day, because although in distance time it's pretty similar to the previous day, you're going through the mountains, so it's going to be a pretty long day. But I'm sure it'll be beautiful because you're in the French Alps. So then when we get to Nice, we pick up a ferry, it leaves about 8:30 I think, roughly in the evening, an overnight ferry to Porto Torres, which is in the north of Sardinia. So the ferry company we're using for the Newhaven Dieppe is DFDS, and they're pretty convenient. The ferry company we're using for Nice to Sardinia is Corsica Ferries. Now, if any of you have any experience of getting ferries with Brittany Ferries on the UK to northern Spain route, you'll know, if you've done it recently, that it is unbelievably expensive. I mean, what used to cost £300 or £400 before COVID now costs between £700 and £800. Corsica Ferries, by contrast, is pretty blooming reasonable. A return for us and the bike with a cabin each way is about £250, which you know, comparing that to the Brittany Ferries ones, is unbelievably cheap. So those are the ferry companies that we're using. We're staying in a villa, and the plan is to, because we love snorkeling, we'll be going out on days out doing a bit of touring around Sardinia, but I mean it is huge. And other days we'll be going to the beach and we'll be swimming around and seeing what we can see. So, what are we taking with us? The luggage that we take with us are our 2 Givi Trekker Dolomiti panniers, aluminium panniers, 36 litres each. The bike, as you'll see from the pictures, has a backrest on it for my wife. We do not have a top box. I know people have commented on other videos I've done as to why don't you have a top box? A top box is incredibly convenient. And I've done a video about two-up touring explaining why a top box is not convenient for the pillion at all. The backrest I've made for the GS is far more convenient for the pillion. Also, I don't want the bike to look like a delivery bike. I saw on a forum the other day that someone was asking, I think it was for a Z900 RS, if you could get a 70-litre top box for the bike. Now, I don't know how big the average top box is, but 70-litre to me sounds huge. Well, it does sound huge because our two top panniers are 36 litres each, so basically it's two of them. And you think, why would anyone want to put something that big and potentially that heavy high up on the bike when you're taking a pillion as well? I don't understand, and it's certainly not something we'll be doing. What we do is we have a waterproof bag called a Q bag. We discovered it quite by chance when we were chatting to someone actually on the Santander ferry a couple of years ago, and this guy had toured all around Spain with this waterproof Q bag that cost $9.99 on Amazon. And we thought, well, that's fantastic, because obviously it's as big or as small as you want it to be, and we just put it behind the backrest, bungee it to the bike, and it's fine. And what it's particularly useful for is when we're on an overnight ferry, we don't take the panniers off the bike. We leave the panniers. The panniers are locked on the bike. They're not going anywhere. Nobody's going to steal them, or what's in them. They probably wouldn't want to be honest. And so what we do is we just take the Q bag off the bike and then take that up to the cabin, and then that's got all our wash stuff and toothbrush, etc. in for the night. Then in the morning it goes back on the bike and everything's fine again. So we also take our waterproofs because sadly we often need them. The waterproofs live in waterproof bags that are Velcro strapped onto the top of the panniers. One, to keep them out of the pannier, because if it's lashing down with rain and you need your waterproofs in a hurry, you don't want to start opening the pannier lid. And two, they're very convenient because they're exactly where you want them when you need them in a hurry. So you don't want them in the pannier, you want them where you can get them. And my wife made these bags for it, and they Velcro on, and it works really well. So after 12 nights in Sardinia at our villa, by which time we will have, I'm sure, had a lovely time, it'll be time to head home. So we're again leaving from Porto Torres and we're going back to Nice, and on the return journey we're going west to Milo, where the famous bridge is, and we're staying in Milo, and then the next day we go up to the Limousin, and we're going to see some friends that live just south of Limoges. So we'll go and see them for a couple of days, and then we'll head to Caen, where we'll get an overnight ferry back to England, and that gets into England, I think it gets into Portsmouth around 6 a.m, 6:30 a.m. or something. So we will be back home before lunch, which will be absolutely fine. So that's what we're doing. I'm sure it'll be an absolutely lovely trip. We're very much looking forward to it, although obviously it's a little way off. But having said that, I do like to have things planned ahead. I mean, everything will be pre-booked. I always pre-book hotels. They're always cancelable, but I always pre-book hotels. I like things to be organised. Other trips coming up is I might be going around Thailand on my own, because my wife is going scuba diving in Thailand in November, I think, October, November. And she said, well, why don't you come with me and ride around Thailand? And I'm thinking, yeah, okay, that's probably not a bad idea. Never been to Thailand, don't speak any Thai, but I do like Thai food. So, I mean, you know, I'm halfway there, really. So that's it. I don't know if you found this useful, helpful, interesting, me talking again in the workshop, but anyway, whatever you did, if you liked it, give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe if you think you want to. And in the meantime, Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.